I have stayed in many hotels, in many cities, in many countries at this point, and yet this one still seems to be one of my favourites. Welcome to Titanic Hotel Belfast. If you're expecting some luxurious five-star quality hotel service in an old shipyard in Belfast, then you're going to be disappointed. That's not what they aim to give you here. What you will instead receive is a unique insight into one of the most notable incidents in modern history. This is the old Holland and Wolff shipyard. You can even see the cranes maybe just out the window. And many notable ocean liners were actually built here, including the RMS Titanic. Not sure if you've heard of it. This building was where they were all designed, just downstairs, in fact, were the drawing offices where all the Irish workers sketching out the designs of all these big ships. And this is also where I'm staying the night. Now, I remember I first came here in 2021 when international travel was a bit iffy. I had to resort to some good old domestic travel around the UK. By the way, if Manchester's your airport of choice, or I believe that several regional airports in the UK are also serviced by Aer Lingus, I'd highly recommend them. A trip on one of their little ATR 72s is so much fun. Plus, Belfast City Airport is literally down the road from the Titanic Quarter. It's like a 10-minute drive. So a quick 10-minute cab from Belfast City Airport will take you to the Titanic Quarter, the name for the whole old shipbuilding yard. The hotel itself is quite a modest-sized building and may not look like much from the outside. This building was indeed the Harland and Wolff headquarters, and it was actually left abandoned upon Harland and Wolff's departure in 1989. But efforts were put into place to renovate the building after becoming a listed building. Part of it was opened as office buildings in the noughties, and in 2017, the Titanic Hotel was opened. There are artefacts and details absolutely everywhere. You can venture around yourself, or there are a couple of tour options. You can actually arrange a free tour around at the concierge, or the Titanic exhibition offers a discovery tour, where they'll take you around as part of a tour. I remember doing the discovery tour in 2021, and I was the only person on it. My tour guide was an absolute legend as well. I believe he used to be on the TV screens as well, because they have a Titanic channel. It is always lovely to have someone show you around who knows what they're talking about, and they can point out all the small details that you'd never notice, whilst also being super enthusiastic. So, shall we talk rooms? If you are the ultimate Titanic nerd, like myself, then you're going to want to stay in one of the suites. All the suites are named after old Harland and Wolff ships. So there is a Titanic suite, which I think I have stayed in before because I requested it. I am not in the Titanic suite today. I am in the Canada suite, I think. So it's the SS Canada. That's the ship that this suite is named after. So the suites are obviously going to be a bit more money, but they're not a ridiculous amount of money. Not a five-star hotel, keep in mind. So you've not really got the five-star facilities. However, it's an experience. The history is part of the experience. You know what I mean? However, the suites are very cool. You've got loads of pictures around. You've got a table in the kind of main lounge area that's got all different artifacts and stuff in there. I've got some Titanic books on the table next to me. There's a separate bedroom area. It's great. It's great. So these suites are absolutely ridiculous in size, especially if you're a solo traveller. This is far too much space for one person. But again, it's part of the experience, you know. It makes you feel special when you're staying in one of the suites, right? I think the breakfast is totally worth doing as well. I'm not even a huge breakfast person. They have a continental buffet spread, and then you can order your hot food separately. They do actually have a vegetarian/vegan fry up. I'm not a cooked breakfast fan though, so I just stuck to the continental, and that does the trick. I remember I did have a meal in one of their restaurants a couple of years ago. They have a few restaurants on site. One of them is the Wolf Grill. That's where they have the breakfast. And then you can also eat in one of the drawing offices, Drawing Office 2, which, as the name suggests, was one of the offices where they used to draw and sketch out the ships. So Drawing Office 2 is a restaurant. So Drawing Office 1, what could that be? It's actually an event space, and apparently it's got 300 pax capacity. So in case anyone's looking for a place to have the next gathering, birthday party, weddings, I think they do as well. And the drawing offices are rather cleverly designed. If you go in them, you'll see there's massive skylights, large glass windows to let in the natural northern light, which you would want if you're sketching throughout the day. You want to be able to see the quality of your sketches, right? Now, I can't remember how I found out about this hotel, but I have been long fascinated by the story of the Titanic, and Belfast was the city that made it all happen, really. Southampton gets a lot of the glory for being the departure port for her maiden voyage, and Liverpool is shoehorned in because its name was printed in big letters on the stern of the ship. The Titanic never even went to Liverpool, and it was only because the ship's owner, White Star Line, was registered there. Some of their ships did go into Liverpool, but the Titanic specifically did not. The Titanic's first home was here in Belfast, right out there. This is where the industry happened. This is where Irish hands built the Unsinkable, amongst other great ships that are still in one piece. An example is the creatively titled HMS Belfast, which is now just part of the Imperial War Museum in London. As for White Star Line, who were once one of the most notable shipping companies in the world, only one of their ships remains. And it's in the Titanic Quarter. It's the SS Nomadic. It's perhaps far from the Titanic size you would expect, but these smaller ships did serve important roles. The Nomadic's most notable role was transporting passengers out of Cherbourg port in France to the larger ships that were simply too big to dock, including the Titanic herself. And you can also get on board. A ticket to the neighbouring Titanic exhibition also includes access to the Nomadic. I thought about going around the exhibition again, but I have honestly done it so many times, and I genuinely don't think I need to do it again. I'll dig out some of my old pics. I can show you some of my old pics and videos from it. So no, I'm not sponsored by the Belfast Tourism Board, as much as I'd like to be. But I'm just a fan of this area and the preserved history that remains. I mean, the shipbuilding history. If you want to know about other aspects of Irish history, maybe listen to someone Irish instead. Not me.